Good morning, people. Today is Monday, May 20th, 2024. It is about 6 o'clock in the morning here in southwestern Nevada. This is Department of Career Services. My name is Edward Bevilacqua, and our goal is to help you on your journey through life, through our 4-part transformational program, which includes physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Monday through Friday, we focus on the physical, mental, and emotional parts. The get there out there in the world of men and machines, navigate through that the best way you possibly can by learning important stuff. Saturday and Sunday are G School, where we focus on the spiritual side. So this is Monday. It also happens to be day 1 of week 1 of our 4-part, week 1 of day 1 of week 1 of our 4-week neuroscience-oriented approach to success. Right. So this is overview and orientation. So let me say hello to Matt, Matticus von Atticus, Rebecca, Carla, Mitch. I think Wadabetti might be driving back from West Virginia. Not quite sure. And but here we are. So today we're going to try something new. We're going to focus on, for the next 4 weeks, the 4-week neuroscience-oriented approach to success. We're going to talk about that. We're going to go through the lectures before the lectures. Right. Now, caveat, I have to meet with the people of Trinity Church at 9 o'clock. So I will be leaving at 5 to 9. So we've got to wrap it up by I have to wrap it up by 5 to 9. You guys can continue to talk about the video. On this short, quick video, we're going to talk about 2 things: the overview and orientation. What is the whole program about? 2, today's talk. And today's talk, Daniel Amen. The results of 80,000 brain scans. What did we learn? And then we're going to figure out, well, why do we even care about that? So, that was a weird sound. So let's get started. Shall we, people? Shall we get started? Okay, great. Okay. The questions are, who am I and why do I behave the way I do? The answer to the questions are important, because if we know who we are and we know why we do what we do, what should we be able to do? We should be able to navigate our way through life best, right? If we know who we are and we know why we do what we do. That's our goal, to help you learn who are we, why do we do what we do. And it turns out, if we know the answer to those 2 questions, the quality of our life is going to be much, much higher. Now, we do what we do because we have neurotransmitters released in our brain that make us feel a certain way, and those feelings affect our behavior, and our behavior affects the outcome, and the outcome reinforces our belief. Okay? We do what we do because neurotransmitters are released in our system, and neurotransmitters, hormones, let's call them chemicals, are released in our brain, in our blood, that make us feel a certain way. And those feelings affect our behavior, and our behavior affects the outcome, and the outcome tends to reinforce our belief. Okay, so what releases the neurotransmitters? Well, there's a stimulus and a belief. So last week we talked about the categorical imperative, or Immanuel Kant, about situation, right? Maxim, conclusion. So this is sort of the same. You have a belief and you have a situation. And the result is going to be the release of neurotransmitters. And the neurotransmitters, again, are going to make us feel a certain way. Those feelings will affect our behavior, and the behavior will affect the outcome. And the outcome will reinforce the belief. That's why we act the way we do. So who am I goes to the question of what are my beliefs? Because we are who we believe we are. That's it. We are who we believe we are. So if we go around saying negative things about ourselves, those are beliefs that we have about ourselves, and they're self-limiting. So more than our beliefs. Well, we're technically more than our beliefs. Who am I? I am who I believe I am. Who I actually believe I am. Not who I, through affirmation, say I am. That's not who I am. I am who I believe I am. So when there's a situation that occurs and it bumps up against a belief, that will release certain chemicals that make me feel a certain way. And once again, those feelings, that behavior will affect the outcome. So if I'm very negative and hostile and I'm in a group of people, they will respond differently probably than if I was friendly and cooperative with me. Okay? So I have a belief, I'm in a situation, I have a belief that will release certain neurotransmitters and chemicals. That will make me feel a certain way. Those feelings will affect my behavior. My behavior will affect the outcome, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if I know that, I also have the ability to do it to myself. Ha ha, ha ha. So if I want myself to act a certain way, so this is where we flip it around now. We focus on what's the outcome I want. What do I need to do? What's the behavior I need to get that outcome? What do I need to feel to get that behavior? What chemicals do I need to release to feel that way? Okay? And that's what they do to soldiers all the time, right? We want them to go into battle. You don't want them to go into battle scared. So the pre-battle talk, the battle cry, all of those things are designed to release a angel's cocktail, let's say, so that we go out and we win. We want to get home to our family. We want to make the king proud. We want to make our people, our kids proud of us, right? We need to be very hyper aggressive. We need to ignore pain, physical pain, and just keep fighting through. Versus no pre-battle talk. So I'm left to my thoughts, and I could easily drift into, oh no, we're going to die. How can I run and flee? How can I get out of this battle? How can I run without getting caught? Because there's a very stiff penalty for that. Because if the whole army or from a significant part of the army decides, oh no, we're going to lose, let's run, now they will lose. And note, historically, more people in battles were killed running than in fighting. It's hard. It's hard to stand your ground. The way you stand your ground is you have a set of beliefs, right? The situation is the upcoming battle. You have a set of beliefs. The chemicals pumping through your system are going to make the difference. Okay, perfect. Okay, those are the two questions. So that's what we're going to get to. But there's another couple caveats, and that is I can't do it on my own. I can't become successful on my own. I need other people. So who am I? If I know who I am, what do I know about other people? Same thing, right? If I could read somebody's mind, could they ever say no to me? If they could afford to do something and they needed it, could they say no? No. Why? Because any excuse they would give to say no, I would already know it, so I could counter that. So if somebody needed what I was selling and they could afford it, they wouldn't be able to say no, because any excuse, any objection they gave would in effect be an excuse. And since I could read their mind, I would be able to say, well, wait, how about this? Or we can do that. And they wouldn't ultimately have an objection. Note to salespeople, go for the third objection. Expect people are going to say no. Be prepared for work around the first two. The third one is usually the real. And it's often with married guys, it's, well, my wife is the one who makes the decision. But they don't say that up front because it makes them look like they don't wear the pants in the family. Okay. So that's what we're doing. We're helping you learn the tools that you need to navigate through this particular life. Providing the tools, showing you how to use the tools. Because it doesn't really work if you just give somebody the tools. Here are the tools to build a house. No, you need to show them how to build a house too. And where to build the house, maybe what kind of house to build, all questions like that. That's what we do. Week 1 is the overview and orientation, which we did, which I just basically did. We can bring it down a level and say, okay, and this program is divided into 4 weeks. The first week is the overview and orientation. It's the big things. It's the frame. It's the frame of the thing. We go a little bit higher, and now we focus on our brain. That's who am I and why do I behave the way I do? The third week is now I need to get other people to help me accomplish my goal. I need to get other people to help me successfully navigate the obstacles in this path. And then the fourth week is just specifically dealing. So boom, boom, boom. The fourth week is specifically dealing with the challenges I will have with the people I have assembled. The metaphor we use is as, well, we use two. One metaphor we use is of a boat. And consider your life as a journey. It's a long journey to a place far, far away, second star to the right, halfway on till morning, type of thing. We don't know where it is. We don't know what it's like. All we know is that's where we want to go. And I can't swim there. I got to have a boat. I got to build my own boat. So I've got to learn how to build the boat to get me there. And it turns out, though, that the boat is so big, I need to have other people. There needs to be room for other people. And I need people to help me crew the boat because I can't do it by myself. I cannot get there on my own. It doesn't have to be a permanent crew, but I need to have a boat that's big enough for a crew, a boat that's big enough to navigate the obstacles that I face on this long, long journey, which of course I will have stops on the way to replenish the boat, fix the boat, things like that. But add on to the boat, maybe make it a little bit bigger, stronger, whatever. So week 1 is the boat and the journey, the concept of the boat and the journey, really understanding that. Because if you don't understand that, you're not really going to get the rest of it. Week 2 is focused on the boat itself. Or let's say it this way. Week 2 is really focused on inside my skull-sized kingdom. So forget about what I said before. Edit that part out. Week 2 is inside my skull-sized kingdom. It's really that whole thing of beliefs, feelings, behavior, outcome. It's really that brought down deep down to the neuron level in our brain, and then even inside of the neurons to the neurotransmitters, down to the synapses, the axons, etc. Can right down into that. and also a couple other parts of the brain. So that's two neurons and neurotransmitters, and then the reticular activating system, which is like the radar, for now, just say the radar system. Okay, week 3, now that I understand what we're trying to do, now that I understand how my brain works, so kind of the who am I and why do I behave the way I do, now I get, okay, now I got to go get a crew for my boat outside my skull-sized kingdom. And I notice and I apply the things that I know about myself to other people. And I want to find like-minded people, people who will help me on my journey. In the real life, in the real world, that's like mentors, that's like partners, that's like who to avoid type of thing. But I have to get other people to do what I want, which is called power, getting other people to do what I want. So week number 3 is about how do you get people to do what you want. And what we want them to do is to help us on our journey in a positive way, not a negative, manipulative way. And then week 4, we call is just don't wreck the boat. Don't crash the boat. Don't have a mutiny. Don't crash the boat. Don't have a mutiny. Don't change course just because I don't know, we're changing course. Don't just keep moving forward. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And that is week 4. And then we start all over again. So that's the thing for today. Amen. Now let's talk about Daniel Amen. So in this thing, we're looking at the brain itself, and we're looking at damage to the brain. And it turns out it's pretty easy to damage your brain. You can damage it, according to Dr. Amen, 5 ways. We're not talking about defective brains. We're talking about brains that are fine and then they're damaged. So one common way is traumatic brain injury. Bam, smashed my head into something, whatever. I have damaged my brain. Number 2, alcohol or drugs. Okay, so those damage your brain. We're going to learn about that. Number 4, I have a disease. Something is growing in I have a disease. So something is damaging my neurons, destroying my neurons, some disease. And number 5 is I have something growing on my brain, a cyst, a tumor, something like that. So what it's doing is my skull isn't getting larger. It's not like your wrist gets swollen when you get injured. If you have something growing in your brain, your skull isn't going to expand. So that thing is going to grow and it's going to push on neurons and it will affect those neurons. So they won't work properly. So those are the 5 ways we can easily damage the brain. Now, the brain is plastic. It changes. It's moldable. And so we can relearn. Okay, we can have a Brain Smart program. So we're going to learn about Brain Smart programs today. On a Brain Smart program, you can, let's just say, sort of repair. You can't fix the neurons. You can use other neurons as a workaround. You can create a detour. You got a damaged road here. Okay, let's detour around the block so we can get to where we want to go. That's the easiest way to think about it. The road is closed up ahead, damage, car wreck, whatever, flood. Can't go that way, but we can build a new path to get there. And so that's how we do it. Smart, and that's called a Brain Smart program. So we're going to learn about that. And then we're going to learn that this is a Brain Smart program. Right. This is a Brain Smart program. We're going to help repair our brains by learning about things that help us on our journey through life. So that's now 19 minutes, way longer than expected, but I think it was a good intro and orientation. This would probably be a good talk for other people to know what we're doing. And then we'll talk about this today too. Hovinghouse at Pratt. What? And with that, I'm going to say cut. Hasta la vista. See you guys at about 8. Oh, Let me do it this way. Bonk.